Hello there, welcome to Lunchtime News with me, Nanel J. Wardner. Let's take a look at our headlines. Call details produced as evidence before the Bond Commission causes a stir in Parliament. Train operations along the main railway line are restored. Patients inconvenience due to strike action in Anuradhapura and Hambantota. A heated debate arose in Parliament today when the matter on call details placed as evidence before the Commission was raised.
පසුගිය දින කිහිපය තුන භාණ්ඩාගාර බැඳුම්කාර පිළිබඳ කොමිෂන් සභාවට ඉදිරිපත් කරන ලද කරුණු පිළිබඳව
Many parliamentarians have views on the facts presented at the Bond Commission during the past few days. Meanwhile, the leader of the House and a number of other ministers allege that their parliamentary privileges have been violated. I have directed my attention on this matter and I feel it should be directed to the Committee on Parliamentary Privileges for an investigation. Moreover, I also hope to discuss with the party leaders on the matter during the coming days.
පක්ෂ නායකින් සමග සාකච්ඡා කිරීමටද අපේක්ෂා කරමි.
ගරු කතානායකතුමනි රාජ් පොලිසිය පරීක්ෂණය කළේ
Honourable Speaker, the CID investigated under the orders of the Commission and a justice at the Bond Commission stated that no phone conversations of parliamentarians have been tapped. Therefore, the question raised by the Leader of the House yesterday concerning parliamentary privileges is misleading.
සම්පූර්ණයෙන් නොමග යවන සුළු එකක් වෙනවා.
අපි ගැන කතා කරන්න
පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ කිසිදු මන්ත්‍රීවරයෙක්ගේ දුරකථන සංවාදවලට CID නැහැ කියලා
Honourable Speaker, as I mentioned yesterday, we are not against the investigations, but the information that was obtained by the police should have been kept confidentially, but the information has been leaked.
kept those confidentially. නමුත් ඒකේ වෙලා නැහැ මේක leak out කරලා.
අපේ ගරු සභානායකතුමා ඉල්ලීමක් කරා.
The Honourable Leader of the House said that obtaining the information is all right, but making it public is wrong. We disagree with that. Since we are here as public representatives, our actions should be known by the general public. Why is the government that brought about the Right to Information Act against the right to information?
ගැනීමේ පනත ගෙනාපු ආණ්ඩුව ඇයි මේ තොරතුරු දැන ගැනීමට විරුද්ධත්වය පළ කරන්නේ?
මුළු රටම ලෝකේම අද දන්නවා.
The entire country and the world knows that no one in this government will steal or cover up theft. But we suggest, Honourable Speaker, that they face their allegations. One person was hiding, saying that he was stung by a snake.
ගරු කතානායකතුමනි දැන් මේ දුරකථන
හොඳයි අපි ප්‍රධාන කටයුතු කරනවා. හොඳයි.
දුරකථන ටැප් කිරීම සම්බන්ධව කතා කරද්දී දැන් මෙතන පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ 225ම
මොකද? Order please. අපිට වැඩ කටයුතු යම් මේ අනවශ්‍ය දේවල් ඉවරයිනේ. Point is taken. අපි පරීක්ෂා කරලා බලනවා. පක්ෂ නායකයන් කතා කරලා කරලා දැන් ඔබතුමා කතා කළා. මොකද ඔබතුමාගේ ප්‍රශ්නය?
ගරු කතානායකතුමනි
ඔව් ඒක තමයි.
ඇත්තටම
හොඳයි.
දැන් කවුරුත් දැන් එළිය හොදනවා. මට කියන්න තියෙන්නේ කුඹල මාළු කෑවනම් වමාර පල්ල බලුනේ කියලා.
Addressing Parliament yesterday, the leader of the opposition, R. Sampanthan, expressed his views on political prisoners.
I know that there are persons in this country who are trying to promote communal tensions by raising issues on all these matters to prevent the right thing being done. But we can't be intimidated and threatened by these people for all time. Your government has been in office for almost 3 years. These matters have been pending for 3 years. But I don't think, sir, these matters should be allowed to drag on indefinitely, because that is not good for the country. That is not good for reconciliation. That is not good for harmony. These young people must not feel that they are being treated differently.
Speaking yesterday during the committee stage debate on the Ministry of Development Strategies and International Trade, Minister Malik Samaravikrama shared these views.
Currently, 6 rounds of negotiations of EDCA have been successfully concluded and the 7th round is scheduled to be held in December. During the EDCA negotiations, India has agreed to implement an early harvest the day EDCA comes into force to address outstanding non-tariff barriers in the Indian market, as well as many of the existing procedural barriers and delays in Indian ports of entry. Sri Lanka is negotiating the removal of quotas on apparel. An important new measure will be the establishment of the structural grievance redressal mechanism to resolve problems faced by Sri Lankan exporters in a firm and time-bound manner. Meanwhile, the China-Sri Lanka FTA will generate nearly $700 million of trade, and the apparel sector alone is set to gain $400 billion in new trade. To date, 6 rounds of negotiations have concluded, and the agreement contains 9 chapters. We are also nearing completions of negotiations on the FTA with Singapore, having completed 7 rounds of negotiations. We are particularly focused on encouraging Singaporean investment into Sri Lanka. The agreement is expected to be signed in January 2018.
At a public meeting in Madhawachia, the JVP commented on bond investigation.
The Prime Minister visiting the Bond Commission with an entourage of 30 people is the most talked about matter today. Some of those people are supposed to be in prison, but they accompany the Prime Minister. Either the Prime Minister needs to have shame or the others need to have shame. Recently, a train in Japan departed 20 seconds before schedule. The Minister apologized to the nation after that. Over here, the rogues who looted the central bank were exposed and some ministers had to resign. But now the chairman, the leader and the deputy are going in line to give evidence. Did they at least have the courtesy to accept a wrong was committed and apologize? The Prime Minister says there were wrongs and shortcomings. However, good governance will move forward.
JVP Uva Provincial Councillor Samantha Vidyaratna presided over the launch of a book on the deforestation taking place in the Central Hills.
Mahinda Rajapaksa says phones were never tapped during his administration. He did not look into that. However, he made others loot for him using files he had against other people, citing they will be put in prison or into the sea. They amassed wealth for the family and himself. This is the tale of the very talented rogue. He says during his time, phones were never tapped.
President Maithripala Sirisena graced the Hairdressers and Beauticians Awards Ceremony 2017 last evening in Colombo.
Hairdressers and beauticians who served in the industry for a prolonged period were felicitated. Minister of Skills Development and Vocational Training Chandima Veera Kodi and several other politicians were among those present. When speaking of a group in any profession, one can assume there are many groups in play. If we assume a group is a singular unit and act separately, we can never move forward. It is the same if any profession and politics. The party I represent, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, at present has 2 groups. That paves the way for a political issue for us. So I request all professionals to band together as one.
Nursing, professions supplementary to medicine and paramedic services officers, launched a token strike at Hambantota and Anuradhapura hospitals against slashing overtime allowances.
Nurses, pharmacists, public health inspectors, laboratory technicians, radiologists, opticians and others involved in 16 professions are taking part in this token strike. According to reports, releasing medicine, laboratory services, X-ray services and other related services have been suspended at the Anuradhapura and Hambantota hospitals. It is reported that patients have been severely inconvenienced by this strike action. Speaking to Newsfirst, Director General of Health Services Dr. Jayasundara said that this issue will be resolved through dialogue.
Operations along the main railway line have been restored. Earlier operations were hampered as a result of a motor accident.
A lorry entered the path of a train at the Hunupitia crossroads this morning, causing an accident which delayed train services for several hours. The railway's control room said the lorry first collided with the train plying from Colombo to Vaunia and thereafter collided with a lorry carrying vegetables. There were no casualties.
Former President's Chief of Staff Gamini Senarath and 2 others who were arrested and remanded for misappropriation of public funds were released on bail today.
Colombo Fort Magistrate Lanka Jayaratna ordered the trio to be released on a cash bail of 50,000 rupees each and a surety bail of 1 million rupees each. The magistrate issued an order banning overseas travel for Gamini Senarath and Piyadasa Kuda Balage and ordered they hand over their passports to court. They are charged with illegally using 4 billion rupees from the 18.5 billion rupees allocated for the Grand Hyatt Hotel Development Project in Kolpiti in 2012 and investing it in the Hyatt Regency Hotel Development Project in Hambantota, an act termed as misuse of public funds.
Police raided a large-scale moonshine brewery in Bolatha, Ganemulla today. The raid was conducted by the Walana Anti-Vice Unit this morning.
The police raided a 3-storied building in the area in which the illegal distillery was in operation. A correspondent said that 5 Goda barrels, 120 bottles of moonshine, 3 coils, 4 gas stoves and 5 gas cylinders were seized. Police also impounded a motorbike used to transport ammonia, sugar, yeast and moonshine. The Valana police have arrested 1 suspect.
An event was held in Colombo yesterday to launch the web-based contingency planning system for the 2017 Northeast monsoon. The web-based system, which will forecast and gather data of uncertain disaster situations, was launched by the National Disaster Relief Services Centre.
We know that every disaster makes us cry, but we will have to provide relief first and then we will have to rebuild the areas. The government and the help of the UN and other agencies as well as from friendly countries, we have been able to provide relief when the people actually need. And unlike other countries, I think our distribution network is quite good. So I think we need to improve those.
Representatives of several international organizations, including the World Food Programme, USAID and the Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN, were present for the occasion.
In the last 10 years, Sri Lanka has been affected by recurrent disasters, particularly floods and drought, and there is no end in sight. It is important in this context to avoid reliance on post-factum responses, which are almost always insufficient to address the requirements. There is a need to plan ahead for those types of disasters that can be foreseen and in those areas where they are most likely to occur. The guidelines and the web-based system being launched today are very important contributions to this endeavor. We need to bear in mind also that contingency planning cannot stand alone. Being forewarned is half the battle won. Contingency planning and disaster risk management are becoming all the more important as climate change is likely to make disasters more frequent. The Ministry of Disaster Management has an important role to play in making this happen, and the UN will continue to provide its support.
And that's all the news for now. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good day.